Right. Well, I thought I'd start from the very basic with acrylic in case there are some people here who have never used acrylics before. This that I've got here is called a stay wet palette. And it's a means of keeping your paint malleable for probably a week or two, which with acrylic is amazing. Oils take a long time to dry, so you can leave them on your palette, and very often when you go back in a week, if you just push the little skin off, you can paint quite easily. Once acrylic is dried, it's rock hard and absolutely impossible to recover. Right, so this has a piece of what looks like blotting paper and behaves like blotting paper, and I put a little bit of water on it. It's too much, but no mind, eh? Soak it. Oh, I know what I forgot. You always forget something, don't you? Right, now, you can send away for packets that have these blotting paper things, and on top of that, you put a piece of something that looks like tracing paper. And that is what you put your paint on. And of course, when you want to get rid of it, you just take it up and put it in the bin. It means that I can put the paint out, and as long as I carry it home flat, don't put it on one side, the paint will be in those places because it's got a little lid. And it's this little lid that keeps the paint moist because of the water underneath it, right? And yet the paint isn't swimming in water because I've got the dry tissue paper on top of it. Okay, so that's a stay wet palette. You use, well, hog's hair brushes or, which is, oh, I haven't got one. Brilliant. Well, that's hog's hair. They're white and very bristly. And also you can use synthetic brushes, which are especially for acrylics, which are good. And you can use little ones and big ones, depending on what you want to use. The other thing is you need a large pot of water. If you use your brush in the paint, then put it down to work on with another brush, that will dry solid and throw it away, right? So if you're not using it, you put it in water. That way around, you don't have to mix it, you just put it in water, and then you can shake the water off when you want to go back to painting again with that color. And when you're cleaning your brushes at the end, you clean them with water. Again, with acrylic paint, use water. What else? I think that's a lot. Yes, okay, right. So I've got acrylic paint and I've got my picture ready. What we're going to do is do what's called negative painting. In other words, I'm not painting the subject, which is the boats in the landscape. I'm painting the rest of it, the back of it. It's very rare that you, in fact, paint the whole painting negatively, but as an exercise, it's a brilliantly easy way of doing things. So before I start, I better put out some paint. I'm going to start with a lemon yellow. Which I'm just putting out on that, on the tray there, right? And a bit of white. Unlike oil paint, where I put out great gobbets and work at it over weeks, I tend to be a little less generous with acrylics for that reason. Now, before
Blotting paper come with
no, that you get them in here. There's both of them in there. Yes. So before you start, wet your brush, otherwise it'll dry too quickly on your brush. And I'm going to, it's quite easy to mix. You mix just the same as you normally would when you're mixing paint. If you want to be a purist, you can use a palette knife. But I've found that most painters, even if they start with a palette knife to show you how professional they always end up mixing it with a brush. Well, right. So I'm starting with this this color near the you can find me again. It's all right. I'll be coming around to do the other side. What I'm trying to do is to leave the space between for the mast. So I'm being a bit careful. And because I'm using a square brush, I'm getting a straight edge there, which is nice. I used acrylic paint. I did it in pencil. Because I'm not very good at drawing. If I was good at drawing, I'd just draw it, you know, with acrylic. Sorry, dear. There we are. Right. So we have this. Now I'm going to add to that a bit of yellow ochre. And I tend to just pick it up with a dirty brush and put it in, you know. And I'm mixing it with the colours I've already got there, so that it is not too it doesn't matter at this stage if the first iteration of paint is a bit too thin, because you can always go over it. But if you make mistakes and paint over your black lines, you can always get them back again. It's not that serious. Oh, this is fiddly. I don't like fiddly painting. Oh, there we are. Right, now I want to make them a bit darker. I want to put in some, I think that one. This is raw umber, which is quite a dark brown. So I'm going to add some of that to the mix. In fact, I'm going to do it the other way around, because I want a dark color. If you want a light color, you start with white or yellow and add your other color to make it as dark as you want it. If you want a dark color, you start with your dark color and lighten it till you get to the level of darkness or lightness that you want. Right, so we're going to put in a great big cloud here. Storm clouds can rise up in the corner here. At this stage, it's a bit gloopy, the paint. So you get sort of strange marks sometimes. And we'll take it off here. You don't want it to go on you. Paint, for heaven's sake. I don't like edges of the painting for the lines to go down. I like my edges to go up. It just makes it a more cheerful picture. And I'm all in favor of cheerful pictures. I don't paint angst. It's against nature. No, I could, in fact. So this is an evening light I'm aiming at. Oh, that's black. I don't want black. Notice I'm always putting the lid back on. Again, if you leave it open, it'll dry solid and you've lost it. That's the one I want. So we're going to make this, oops. You can tell I'm enjoying myself by using the same brush. Yeah, basically, it's got a bit of the mix in that I had before. So it's not neat raw umber. It's well, there's a mess on the paint brush, so it gets added because I haven't cleaned the brush, which is no. Excuse me. Right, I think we can pull the cloud down here a bit. When you're going round a mast, do be careful that the other side looks believable. Oh, I like that better. That's a bit better, more believable. Right, I'll just put that in there and get another brush. Yes, it's a characteristic of Steve. So it's just something I do. I think because my first teacher did the same thing. You can't get paints in these things. It tends to be too much paint and it dries out too fast for me, but there we are. It does happen. Am I happy with that? Right, so if we clean that. If you really want to clean it, I just wipe it with a, and it really doesn't matter if you do this. Don't do this with your watercolor brushes. It's okay to do it with these. So I want to introduce a bit of that. As if the light is touching the underside. It would plug down here. I might not put any blue in. I'll think about that. That is source material, the source material. That gives me, that's my sketchbook, if you like. It gives me the shapes. And if I can go as wild as I like with the colors. I need it in some sense for this, because of the way the water and the sand, the mud is coloring. But I think I'll put in a bit of blue. It's a dark brown, dark umber, which I've just added blue to now, which makes it even darker. It's a dark and stormy night. Well, it isn't actually, but there's clouds around, you know. I might decide that that's too much. Because the trouble about painting that close is, oh boy. Right, okay. The other thing George used to say was never do each corner the same color. Yeah, try to, I think that's a bit too light. The wind's getting up, yes. No, not as bad as that. Not as bad as that. Promise, promise, promise. That's a bit light, isn't it? Well, I can always change it if I don't like it. Let's go on. Pardon? You like it? Right, okay. We'll stick with that then. Now, I need to work out what I'm going to do down here. It needs to be light, but I think with that amount of light in the sky, I need to be careful about what I do with the light down here. I have given myself a conundrum, which is good. What shall I do? Well, when in doubt, add a bit of white. Right, now. Too near. I want the difference. Of course, this is C here. I want it to show. I ought to get out a smaller brush, shouldn't I? Should. Really should. I'm not going to. Right, and where does that? Right. It in fact comes along here. Sorry, dear. Now I'm trying to keep the brush strokes fairly peaceful here. Right, there is just here in the street. The water in shadow. Then we're doing all right. Now I need to pick up a bit more of the color here. I need to make it darker. Again, I'm trying to be trying to make the edges smooth. I've got to try and cover that line that I drew in as well. So I can do that later with a it's already drying on the board. Because it's thinner, it's almost too dry for my hands to. Right, now that is far too light over there. Now I'm going to add a bit of the umber now to the paint as it comes forward. Make it more muddy. We're doing for time, Rachel. These things happen. There used to be a comedian on the radio who used to say, what does it matter as long as you tear them off? What does it matter as long as you can paint over it? Oh. Right, now then, if I put a bit more white in there. And come down. This is too far away to reflect anything. Apart from no, no, there aren't any. Well, yes, there are a twiddle, but that, I'll put them in later. The thing about acrylic is, so well, I would imagine so. I had a go at painting Roncassalto Viaduct like the Fighting Temeraire. It was a total disaster. Right, I think that's as far as I'll go today, because there's obviously a lot more work to do. But I think you can see from that I've got my basic picture down, and I've got to point up the difference between this little patch of water here a bit more. But you get the idea of the distance, and it's quite a dramatic view. There's a little highlight or two on the boats that can happen. And I need to tidy up the masts, but I can do that, you know, having got the basic picture down, I can fiddle with a smaller brush and get the thing. But the basic picture is there now. I don't have to get too concerned about, it's a case of fine tuning now. Again, this is the way I paint, even in oils. I tend to get the whole thing covered in a half an hour. And then I can go back and twitch. And I can twitch for however long I need to twitch, which you know, depends on the picture. But there we are. That's and of course I'll put my brushes back in the water. So all I need to do is rinse them in the water, and then get some clean water and rinse them again. But that's it. That's as far as I need to go to clean them. So they are a bit cleaner. But if you don't clean them straight away, and if you don't keep them damp while you're working, then your brushes are lost and gone forever. They are irrecoverable. So you have to pay attention to that. And if you paint thin, it will dry very quickly. That's dry. That's dry. That isn't. That bit is still wet there, a little bit. That's dry. Pardon? Because what I was aiming at was to get you to understand negative painting. So you're painting not the thing, but behind it. It comes into all kinds of painting, and if you can introduce some of it into your painting, then your painting has more integrity, and I suppose that means it looks a bit more professional. If you paint everything, if you paint the outside and you're sketching, you paint it as it is. You put the right color in the right place at the right time. No, fine. But if you're doing something a bit more studied, you go back to your studio and paint, then you can introduce things that will give the picture an integrity of, which I think comes from the blending of the colors. So you're using colors that work together, not the full palette that's available to you. And also that you're using techniques that create the foreground by painting the background, or paint the background by... Yes, yes, yes. So, I mean, obviously the masts are going to need to be tidied up in some way, because if no mast on Earth looks like that. No, not even on a wreck. And there might be the odd touch to put in here where the light is catching, but you can go in quite delicately. I've been quite strong here, but it is possible to go in quite like a mist with acrylic. So that works very well too. So there we are. If you're painting, anybody painting in watercolor? Right. Oh.
Yeah,
Right. I know Peter's doing pastel. You've got pastel. Yes. Are you happy using pastel? You don't need to be told. I know.
we've done that one.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, put in your drawing if you want to. You don't have to. Bearing in mind going round things that you want to leave black. So your light line is a bit beyond the line that you are using itself. So instead of painting a line for the mast, I went rather badly round the edge of the mast, just to show me where it is, so that I can edge up to it and edge away from it. Once you've got your drawing down, and I just used a very light ochre to do my drawing, then you can bash in with the paint and enjoy it, because that's great fun. Especially at this stage, you cannot go wrong. Absolutely never.